Welcome to the Witchy Work Wishes podcast, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. Welcome to Witchy Work Wishes. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm your host, Charlene, and I have lots of good Imbolc rituals to go through on today's episode, which was previously announced to be all about Loki, but Justin and I could not get our schedule synced, so I promise it's coming soon. Now, I do like to pull some things I have recently done to help with my own personal practice to start off each podcast. Just something for me to stay current with so I can share what happened over the past weekend maybe, or possibly what I'm planning for on the week ahead. Now, this past weekend, I worked on my own personal 2024 goals a bit more. Both of my boys went back to their colleges, decorations came down, and the house was cleaned. All of this activity took about all of my energy, so there was not much room for anything else. Now, what did happen in the quiet of the newly empty house, once again, was a moment of just staring into the fire I made. And I ended up doing a little bit of scrying. Now, the other two popular scrying methods are going to be water and mirror. But in the quiet of the early night one evening, I got lost in the flames of my fire. I was mesmerized by how the smoke and flames were dancing, and it really did just call to me. So in particular, with this one log that was burning, the bark had broken off a bit and kind of separated from the log, which allowed for the smoke to roll up in it and kind of mix in with the flames. It was amazing. As soon as I saw it, I stopped. Like, it literally just stopped my gaze, and I just stared at it. And the vision that I saw, gosh, it felt like a warning, to be honest. It was dark and a little scary, not for that specific moment, but it felt like for something that was coming, something in a future time. I don't know what it is, but it was ominous. Now, the next day I drew a card on it, to give me a little bit more guidance, and I pulled the Three of Wands, which is all very positive and about adventure. So in my Crow Tarot deck, which is the deck that I use, the Three of Wands says, eager for a new adventure, the crow looks across an expansive body of water. Off in the distance, it sees new land to explore. He is ready to move beyond the familiar comforts of home to seek new adventures and experiences. The Three of Wands suggests looking for a new beginning or opportunity in your life, whether it is traveling abroad, starting a new project, or maybe going back to school. This card brings the message that now is the time to go after your dreams. They may be significant and as vast as an ocean. Move forward, you will make it across. So that really does not seem to tie into the ominous feeling that I got when looking into the smoke and the fire the previous night. So I read what the card in reverse means. And it says, reversed, the Three of Wands indicates a setback. Although the plan was well executed in your head, in reality, there is an unforeseen snag or a patch of bad luck holding you back. It may also be a sign that your heart isn't in the journey. This reversed message seems more in line with what I think my vision was when I was looking into my fire and I was doing the scrying. It's what I'm keeping in mind for the overall message to help me work through this vision. Now, one of the gifts I got at Christmas was a new potting bench. And while it is in the smack dab middle of winter, I do happen to live in California, Southern California. So it's more of a suggestion and a light change of season than a full blown winter that will be in other places. So to give you a good reference, it's mid-January, and our high today was 54 degrees, and our low tonight will be 36. I actually can keep up with the garden changes and little things even though it is winter. Now, while outside watching my older son build the potting bench for me, I was actually greeted by a weasel. This is the first time I have seen a weasel in my yard, and oh my goodness, it was so adorable. And really, it did not seem too bothered by me. In fact, almost seemed a bit curious. Now, having wildlife in my yard is so important to me. So this cute new addition honestly just made my day. And again, I think, my fairy lights are making my backyard more and more attractive, not only to the fairies and the fae, but to the wildlife in my area. And me spending time outside and bringing the energy and love I have for wildlife helps to invite everybody in. Now, since a big part of Imbolc includes wildlife, I want to take some time and figure out what all of my little interactions mean. What does a weasel bring in for energy? What do my frogs, that honestly seem to croak each time I'm talking, but what do they all, what in general do they bring so that I can have a better understanding of some of the smaller little interactions that I am having, not just the big obvious ones that I have, with my crows. All right, now for, the moon stuff, this week we've got a lot of activity. Today, as this airs, it's a dark moon, our first dark moon of 2024. And right afterwards, our new moon will probably be bringing some energy that we may not be ready for. It's a new moon in Capricorn, and if you follow astrology, you probably know way more than I do about this and what's going on this week. If you don't, it's a great week to look up some more specifics about what is happening energetically. I can say my basic thoughts, that I'm working with this new moon is what do I need to do now for the greater good of me later on. But I encourage you to look up all of the chatter that is going on for this week to give yourself maybe a little bit more guidance. All right, let's jump over to Imbolc as it's our first celebration on the Wheel of the Year for 2024. All right, Imbolc is part of the Pagan Wheel of the Year, and it is listed as the calendar date, or dates of February 1st and February 2nd. As we know, this wheel has a direct counterpart that is equally at the other half of the year. And for Imbolc, the 6-month counterpart is Lunasa, which celebrates the harvest. Appropriately, the exact opposite is the planting. Now, our strongest symbol of Imbolc is represented by a candle and the goddess Brigid. Imbolc is known as Candlemas Day and St. Brigid's Day. It is one of the 4 seasonal festivals on the Wheel of the Year, and I think is a good halfway point between winter and spring. So let's do some general bullet points on Imbolc first. This Celtic holiday that has a handful of symbols. So we have the sun, which represents the warmer days coming, light and new life beginning. We have candles, which represent hope, life, and creativity. Imbolc has fire, it's a big one, which represents transformation. Brigid's cross is a symbol for Imbolc, probably between that and a candle, it's one of the bigger ones. Her cross is made with strands of grass and represents protection, fire, and lightning. Now a broom or a besom, this is also a symbol of Imbolc and represents fertility, abundance, and cleansing. We have water, which represents emotions, cleansing, healing, and psychic abilities. Burrowing animals, of course, are represented here. We all are probably very familiar with the movie Groundhog's Day. But burrowing animals are also a part of the Imbolc symbol, which will be our groundhog, hedgehog, badger, and bear. Of course, we can't think about the coming of spring without thinking about flowers. And for Imbolc, we're going to want to look for white flowers as they really are a symbol of new beginnings, beauty, waking life, and love. Lambs. These are also a big symbol of Imbolc, and they represent youth, innocence, and gentle energy. So Imbolc is Brigid's Day. She is the great mother goddess of Ireland and is represented by an eternal flame. Now, Brigid is known as a triple goddess of 3 sister selves. First one is the Lady of Healing Waters, representing, of course, the water element. The goddess of the sacred flame, representing the fire element. And the goddess of the fertile earth, representing the earth element. Now, Brigid's symbol, and thus one of the main symbols of Imbolc, is her cross, which is reeds of grass, as mentioned, tied together and crossed. Brigid is known for having 9 gifts, which are poetry, reflections, meditation, lore, research, knowledge, intelligence, comprehension, and wisdom. Now, Imbolc brings a great opportunity for us to weave a little of the festivity traditions into our own personal practices this February. And I have pulled some ideas for us today. Now, some are from last year that I will, of course, be doing again this year. And then I have a couple of new ones to add as well. So, a first one, candle magic. If you have the ability to make your own candles, celebrating the element of fire and the Imbolc symbol of the candle, I really think you could generate some amazing energy by making your own organic candles and then dressing them with, herbs and crystals and anointing them with essential oils. So second one would be to make Brigid's cross. We can celebrate Imbolc by making our own wreaths of cross that represents Brigid's cross, hanging outside our front door maybe. This will invite Brigid's energy in. If you do this, be sure to get it hung up on the 31st of January. Her cross symbolizes endurance through times of the darkness and winter. It symbolizes protection for our homes, especially when hung on the door and in windows. And it symbolizes protection for our animals when placed in our barns. It also helps to ensure the cows will have plenty of milk. And I love that. Another one would be doing altar decorations. That's probably one of our more easier paths to take. If you have space available and can create an altar for Imbolc, good things to use are going to be really anything that honors Brigid. Her grass cross, a broom, candles, lots of candles. A picture of Brigid, of course, maybe a corn dolly. But anything that presents the Imbolc symbol, like the sun, burrowing animals, white flowers, and lambs. Another good thing to do is an early spring clean. Might not be your massive spring clean, but an early one just to set things off. A nice ritual that will celebrate Imbolc is doing a more ritual cleaning of your home. We can take the symbol of the broom, use it, not only symbolically for the celebration, but literally in the practice of our cleansing rituals. We are getting rid of anything that is negative or old and welcoming in the new spring life and energy. Fire magic, perfect for Imbolc. Imbolc is associated with fire, and having a fire in your fireplace or outside in a fire pit would be perfect. Hearth magic would be great during Imbolc, one of my favorites. But right back to candle magic, as that is a part of fire magic. So water magic also. Pull many ways to work with the element of water. Honestly, just going out to a stream or river, or even if you're by the ocean, something to be physically by water during Imbolc would raise that water energy. Earth magic, if you're a green witch, or even if you are not and you just enjoy gardening, Imbolc is a perfect time to start your seeds or even to plan out your spring garden. For most everyone, regardless of where you geographically live, you'll want to plant your seeds inside, at least to start with, so you can control the elements and give your seeds and seedlings a good, loving start. Now, this is honoring new life and new beginnings that are coming. And since Earth is waking up again, planting seeds and giving that gentle love to the Earth will bring the spirit of Imbolc into your home. Now, cauldron and kitchen magic, my favorite. For our kitchen witches, Brigid is often shown with a cauldron, so any type of workings with your iron cauldron would be great during Imbolc. And since spring is all about seeds and the starting of life, cooking with seeds is going to be great during this time. Specifically, if you are making bread, adding seeds to your bread or topping it with seeds will bring that energy in. Muffins, scones are also going to be good in our kitchen workings for Imbolc. Now, the biggest ingredient for Imbolc is going to be milk. And milk is tied to this festival specifically because it represents fertility, life, and abundance. Now, the word Imbolc actually means in the belly and refers to the growing of life, just, like a baby grows in its mother. And it's this powerful ingredient that gives sustenance and life to their babies. So anything that works with dairy and milk are going to be good for Imbolc. Now, I know ritual baths are also, somewhat generic in our practice, but you don't only have to have the option of cooking or baking with milk, right? Or drinking it directly, I guess. You can use milk in your bath and do something special for Imbolc. Candle magic and our 2024 goals. I think this is going to be something that is good for Imbolc, and I'm personally going to be doing it this year myself. I mentioned candles, but another good idea is to take your 2024 goals, have a white candle represent each one of them, place the white candles in a circle, or that's what I do. I put them in a circle, one for each goal, and then light them, giving life and energy to your intentions. You can say your goals out loud, use a little candle magic, to help bring them to life, just as spring shows life stirring again after months and months of hibernation. So it's time to put our goals into action, and I think this is a good bridge to do it. Lastly, I've got poetry. This is a great Imbolc tradition that you can incorporate into your practice. It does not come naturally for a lot of people. I'm either in the mood for it or I am not. But this is something that I have always done, even back to when I was little. I really do appreciate the complexity of poetry and how it just might not come naturally to others. But if you can give it a try, I would say go for it. And a little tip, if it's not flowing, the words and the thoughts are not coming naturally to you, set it down. Try again later. Poetry is something special to Brigid, and it really does honor the celebration of Imbolc. All right, let's bring Imbolc into our office and our work. First is an easy one, clean, right? You may not be able to use a witchy broom for this, but Imbolc is all about new beginnings and fresh starts and, a clean space. So use this time to tidy up your desk and organize, maybe do a full cleaning and cleansing, if you can, of your office space. And even though spring has not officially started or begun, we do need to wait for March 21st for that to happen. You can do your spring cleaning at the office now. Second is to have white flowers at your desk. I think this looks so pretty, Imbolc or not, at any time of the year. But Imbolc has both the fire and the water element. So you can have a beautiful bundle of white flowers in a vase at your desk. A third is to light a candle. This one might be hard for the office. Many corporate offices are not going to let you have an open flame at your desk. But if you can, light a candle. Imbolc is represented by a candle, and this is a powerful way to celebrate it. You can use a little battery-powered candle, maybe to replace the open flame too, if it's not allowed. Fourth, I've got, make your own Brigid's cross for the office. And of course, instead of using long strands of grass, which is, the traditional way, maybe you can use paper from your office and fold it. I always like a little kitchen magic for work. I really do enjoy baking and, with love at my own home and then bringing in the baked goods for the office and my staff to enjoy. So Imbolc is a perfect time for this. By baking bread with seeds or making poppy seed muffins maybe for everybody, you're really going to be celebrating that. Or even if you're a big salad eater, bring some seeds in during Imbolc to add to your lunch salad. Of course, we can always wear clothes that have the colors of Imbolc or even, jewelry with the stones and crystals. Our colors are going to be red, pink, yellow, gold. Our stones and crystals will be any of your red stones like garnet, bloodstone, and any of your cleansing crystals. Now, if you have a diffuser in your office like I do, or if you are able to make your own office spray with essential oils, look for rosemary, cinnamon, frankincense, basil, vanilla, wisteria, and myrrh. Now, some new things that I am doing this year for Imbolc. I am going to take a moment on Friday, February 2nd. If I can start it on the 1st, I will. But I'm going to be thankful for Brigid. She is a moon goddess and queen of the undying flame. She is a protector of women. And I'm going to bring white flowers into my home and take my pine cones and create my own little space in the kitchen with all of them. And I am, for the first time, going to try my hand at a homemade candle. Since Brigid is all about first and newness, I think trying my hand at a candle at this time is perfect. I am going to get a bunch of white candles too, and just to fill my kitchen up with flowers and candles and pine cones while working on my own personal homemade candle. I will also be doing my own simmer pot on Friday using magical elements to help welcome in spring. Now, Imbolc is one of the fire festivals, so I'll be heading over to my hearth next so I can sit by my living room fireplace and let my mind relax while getting lost watching the flames. Again, I'm going to try to work on meditation skills this year, so this will be a great opportunity to practice once more. I am also going to plan out my garden a little bit more. What steps I'll be taking for this year, because I have some drastic ideas. Since Imbolc is all about the spring, that is coming and what seeds need to be planted, I think spending some time now on how I want my garden to look will be just perfect. I am also baking bread, but I will not be doing that until Sunday. Now, Imbolc really, starts as the sun sets on the 1st of February and goes through the end of the sunset on the 2nd. So technically by Sunday we are done, but that is my bread making day. So I know I want to make a couple of loaves for the office staff. I would love to hear what you are doing this year or what you have planned. I know life happens, believe me, I totally understand. And, sometimes our best laid out ideas just do not come to life. But if you have some time and can comment on my Instagram post and share pics of your own, I would love it. I would really like to be more interactive with you and my listeners, so anyone who can help start us off, let's go. Now, I do have an Imbolc poem that I'll be reading again this year, so if you want to stay with me for that, I will be right back. All right, poetry is a big part of Imbolc, and I may tie that into some of my activities on the 2nd as well, but for today's episode, I am reading my Imbolc poem, and it goes. The air is crisp, and the days are cold, though spring is coming, we are told. Imbolc's energy is what we feel as we celebrate our pagan wheel. Brigid has her eternal flame, and represents the Imbolc name. With sun and candles, water and fire, she holds within what we desire. Brigid's cross protects our home and our furry animals as they roam. We use our broom to cleanse and clean and plant our seeds to watch them green. Imbolc is the time of year to wish for spring that's almost here, to celebrate with cauldron work, a loaf of bread and a happy smirk. For we all know the power inside, as our workings are a magical guide. This time of year we look ahead, we light our candles and bake our bread. Imbolc sets our goals in motion, a recipe of our personal potion. As we celebrate our pagan wheel, Imbolc's energy is what we feel. Thank you so much for joining me today, and again, happy 2024. I hope your January is going great so far. I am so very appreciative of your support and truly happy that you come back each week to my podcast. Next week is all about the mugwort herb, and I'm so excited. And I have Annika joining me for this very special episode. I hope the rest of the week is wonderful for you and you have a great weekend. I'll talk with you next week. Thank you for joining me today at Witchy Work Wishes, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. For more information and additional content, please visit me online at witchyworkwishes.com. If you want to send me a personal note, please email me at info@witchyworkwishes.com. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Witchy Work Wishes.